วัสดีค่ะสวัสดีทุกท่านนะคะขอเสียงปรบมือหน่อยได้ไหม
Please okay thank you very much
เราจะได้มาต่อเนื่องกันเลยนะคะ
So in the upcoming session we gonna listen to Thailand Startup Universe 2022 update for both for audience here and also online audience site.nia.or.th. And the next topic that we're gonna listen to is that Thailand Startup Universe 2022 update. So how is it? Let's listen to Dr. Panat Chairat, Director Dr. Panat Chairat, Director of NIA. Yeah, you see me again. I'm not sure who's run the queue. So don't fed up with me yet. This session is important that because NIA we have started what we call universe of startup. Since we organize this event, why do we need this? Because we are talking about development of startup and we need to update on the annual basis. And this year
น่าจะสุดท้ายละของการที่วิกฤต
because we just gone through COVID-19 crisis and we started this last year. From what we talked with many town halls, with startup, with investors, and many government agencies, and we have the document come up. This is a report of how to develop ecosystem report 2021. And the research, the report finding about the brainstorming of startup during COVID-19 and to keep continue how it could be. So we're talking about obstacles to conduct business of startup in Thailand. We identify into 4 aspects. First is the manpower readiness. Number 2 is source of funding. Number 3, growth and scalability. And 4th, support by government and partners. So in short, it's about people, money, growth and support. It's not only this, but when we break it down into details, we see that for the manpower readiness in the past year, what's the development of the upcoming universe? What need to get fixed? First is the readiness of manpower. Students sitting here, you are the future generation. You can be a fintech, a co-founder, a CEO in the future, or employee in startup business, or you are change maker. So we have 3 aspects in 3 breakdown points of manpower. The entrepreneur, most entrepreneur focus on development in technology, but lack of organizational management. They just focus on their own technology, like coder. So they cannot really catch up with the investor and speak different languages. So we need to equip them not only the tech talent, but also the business talent. And we also have consultant online courses through Global Hub in Bangkok and Chiang Mai and EEC. Why so? Because we need to equip entrepreneurs to be good at both business and their products and services. This is the chronic problems, and we require many more resources on this. This is the ongoing development. And number two is the tech talent is not enough to move both China and Silicon Valley. We in scarcity of tech talent. We lack of many personnel. So we need to equip young people. And we have employment since 2010, 2020. This is not the ordinary job, but is the tech job. And probably this the company founded by your friends or colleagues. Once you set up the company, the startup company, you need to hire people. So you need to cultivate them, you need to incubate them since they haven't graduated. What's the innovator? How people in fintech work. The third aspect, the business entrepreneur cannot hire tech talent with high salary, but they have to offer share of the company to them, or the employee stock ownership plan ESOP, and it's not insignificant yet, has no significance in the employee decision making. The difference between the last two is that first is not join the company yet, but number three that they already join, but how to keep them, how to retain them with the company. So what we can do that the BOI have 10,000 million baht funding for this industry to support wages to start up. This is the new thing. In the past, employee of government agency cannot be paid from this funding, but now it can be done, including tech talent and foreign experts. So there's more development. Why? Because we have changed from tech startup to be deep tech startup. Deep tech startup need more personnel, manpower, and R&D, not only from university professor, but by the young people themselves. Number two, source of funding. The problem about it is that to create a startup, they lack of funding, don't have financial plan. And this is business model, business plan. Especially when we evaluate long term. If you read what's the value of the startup company, it means it's not their goal to grow, but it's what already done. So if we want to do this evaluation, you need to demonstrate what's the business model, if it's good enough, if of your administration and goods and product. Now we're not get to unicorn yet, but we are the horse. You know Nin Mangkon or dragon horse. Dragon horse is the transgender horse and cannot breed. And when we talk to the product, it has to be marketable. Even in COVID-19, the first dragon horse, he was a pilot and he was laid off and he set up a startup business and also and scrolled drastically, exponentially. And now there are more than 2,000 agencies cooperate with this. Number two is most investor interested in startup business, but some were not popular yet. There are two sides of the same coin. Maybe not enough choices for investor or not attractive enough for investors. Like at Gsetat University, there are 57 startup companies. The study done by Major University, and some get funding, but some feel like biotechnology not get enough funding yet. So we know this result, like AdTech, bio-based. There are many platforms. Smart farming is also a platform. There are lots of investment. But next is the space economy. They do global research about food engineering startup. Most startup focusing on food delivery, but the most demanding is about food engineering, food automation, industry 4.0. That's the food industry. So if we incubate young people for this, then the big company are ready to invest. And why do we have to do space economy? Because we already have this field. Every year we have to pay for licensing 50,000 million baht for satellite licensing. So why don't we create it ourselves? We need to visit lab, we need to equip them, we need to equip them with astronomy. Last year we have done in these three fields. The third aspect, that the promotion of investment is not attractive enough comparing with other countries, especially for the early stage, not much enough. Not only in Thailand, but also in other countries. But in early stage, in other countries, they have like thousands of them. They have, like in Israel, they have 6,000 startup company in Israel. And then after early stage, they need to expedite their growth because BC want to invest. If we take a look in the past, this funding is the answer of this. And government should subsidize on this gap, on the technology innovation-based enterprise. This funding now support 435 projects with a funding of almost 300 million baht. how to subsidize it, how to fill the gap. It's very early stage. Some just newly start up. The investor not interested. Then they can ask funding from NIA. Up until they are capable to ready to get investment, then private sectors ready to invest with them. And entrepreneurship with the early stage cannot access to loan of Thai commercial bank to top up their business. Sometimes they need to make a loan because they don't have collateral. Partnership because they don't have asset to guarantee. Not all startup have wealthy parents or family. For example, like government saving bank, GSB, they have this loan to support the the startup. Number 3, to recruit the clients and to expand the business. The early stage entrepreneur lack of business idea. First, medium and large SME entrepreneur, they have their own incubator. They have their own deal, but most that's been growing cannot. We have this SpaceX program with collaboration with Thai Union, canned tuna of Thai, and we work with Thai beverage, which is, and also with the global consultant company. We have done 2 things. First, we cultivate the newly startup unicorn, and the second thing is startup from all over the world to accelerator, the incubator from college students and professor, and we incubate and they meet with employee. They got IP, intellectual property, they get education, they get knowledge, and they get channel for investment. This is one example that we done with food technology, food industry, and next we're gonna expand to telco, to other industry.
Second, usually a lot of businesses lacks financial literacy. Then another word that we use is cash runaway. Cash runway. They lack of financial planning. And of course, this is very important because not all investors will continue invest in your business from start to the end. So we have mechanism to provide knowledge. We also have platform where young people can educate themselves. And this is linked with business model about understanding of how to be a business owner. We've talked a lot about startups, those who are survivors, but are still a lot still struggling. And the consumers platform in consumers base in Thailand is still quite small. The domestic market actually is not small, but the majority of the market is in the hands of big businesses. So startups should work together with big companies to give them more opportunities to market their ideas. And of course, competing with big markets, it could be difficult for them to compete with the big business. For SpaceX, which is the venture from PTT or from Bangjak Initiative and Innovation Center, they try to invest to provide facilities and platform opportunities for startups, for smaller startups. So as we see here, bigger companies have started working together with smaller startups. Next is support by government and partners. There are 4 areas. First, lack of master plan and policy to drive community enterprise to be an entrepreneur at the regional level, become a regional player. So they still lack the clear plan, strategies. And of course, we also need supporting legislation for startups to go overseas. Recently, the resolution of the cabinet has made it clear that the support for startups are very important, and the legislation contributed by NIA will soon in the future be part of legislation in force to support the growth of startup. The financial support from the government is not comprehensive enough and has not covered all the different industrial sectors. I think it's very important which stage the business is in. Also, next is qualification criteria for receiving funding and procurement does not support the business operation of the community enterprise at the initial stage, especially the approval criteria and the red tape and the time duration taken. And next is the Thai bureaucracy still has a lot of processes, making it inconvenient for modern businesses to work together with them. Okay, so I would like to show this to you. I would like to show the universe, Thailand Startup Universe 2022. So we have those who are no longer with us, have newcomers. So let's take a look at this year's highlights. This is the summary of Thailand Startup Universe in 2022. We focus more on deep tech. There's a rise in deep tech interest. So if you look here, the black color represents deep tech section. We have 60 potential startups, growing from just one startup in the past. Number 2, attractiveness of Bangkok city. Bangkok still attracts a lot of foreigners to set up business. The digital we are at the second in the world with a number of digital nomads. And number 3 is the interest of universities that have incubators and funding to support community enterprise. Of course, we have a lot of foreigner startups. It's quite international. As you see here, we have a lot of global partners flowing into Bangkok City. We have what is called, or you may have heard, university holding. So holding is a company. It's a company owned by university ready to invest in new startup initiated by either professors, the university professor, or the university students. So usually in the past, here Chulalongkorn University, usually universities are here. They start having a dedicated department that helps drive incubation of startups. Next is the legislation, the right legislation that help facilitate the growth of startups. So it could be the intellectual property patent, intellectual property act, and next is investment in the initial stage of community enterprise. The amount of investment is still high, even during lockdown, which goes against the flow or the trend in the global scale. So at the end here, I would like to end with the challenges that are waiting for us in the future. Now we have war, we have the economic constriction, we have and other crises. So we need to make sure that the government provides proper support, just like Scandinavia, the Nordic countries, the startups and private sector. They can become, how are we going to make them become the vendor for the government sector? This is what we call GovTech. And next is about investment in community enterprise. In state enterprise. So angel investor, big company to attract global investment. And also we need to push for the enforcement of the right act to provide the right direction. So this is the overall universe. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for your sharing and the stories that you have shared with us, the crisis, challenges, and the current situation. So there are many things that we can learn from this session, build upon what we already have, make it better. So as you see, as you have joined us today, I'm sure you have learned a lot from their failures, the current situation, challenges, and it will help us move forward even stronger. So I would like to pass on encouragement and good wishes to all the startups, business owner, and of course, we start seeing good direction that will occur in the future with support from private and public sector. And today, still, we will go over several topics till the end of today. We also have activities here on site. This is day 2 of site 2022. So in the next session at around 1 p.m. is the MOU session, and this is done together with NIA. This is the Memorandum of Understanding ceremony. So this will be the next session to support innovation system to promote good health between the fundings that promote health and NIA. You can also join us in Metaverse activity, and we will come back here at 1 p.m.